What Kamala Harris said was a flat-out lie, just an abhorrent falsehood. Everyone knows it. The media knew it.
With Biden backtracking his original statement to reopen schools to just 1 day a week, mathematically speaking, that makes his original statement 20% honest. So at least he's improving there.
President Biden gave a appearance on CNN, which was a town hall, and wow, two things. They're trying to run this line that literally there was no plan, nothing in place when it came to vaccinations until, of course, the skies parted and he became president, and Kamala was constantly double-checking his heart rate. Here is what he had to say today at that town hall.
The biggest thing, though, as you remember, when you and I shouldn't say it that way, as you remember, but when you and I talked last, we talked about it's one thing to have the vaccine, which we didn't have when we came into office, but a vaccinator. How do you get the vaccine into someone's arm?
Ah, yes, but if only there was a bit of footage that James Morrow pointed out to me before. Oh, yeah, this is Joe Biden getting the vaccine a whole month before becoming president, which means they had the vaccine before he became king.
There was no national strategy or plan for vaccinations. In many ways, we're starting from scratch on something that's been raging for almost an entire year.
Is the Biden administration starting from scratch with the vaccine distribution effort?
No, I mean, we certainly are not starting from scratch because there is activity going on in the distribution.
How did he forget that he got the vaccine?
I don't want to answer the question how he forgot that he got the vaccine because it's pretty scary, because it means two words, President Harris.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is so bad. It's so cynical.
I like the way that Joe Biden corrected himself for saying the phrase, as you remember, because Joe Biden, of all people, knows how offensive it is to assume that someone remembers anything.
It's so infuriating. What Kamala Harris said was a flat-out lie, just an abhorrent falsehood. Everyone knows it. The media knew it. You pointed to Dr. Fauci's comments that they weren't starting from scratch. I was in those meetings with Dr. Fauci, and when the Biden administration takes over, they say we're going to set a goal of 100 million doses in 100 days. You're welcome. We did that because the time you took over, by that moment, we were already giving more than 1 million vaccines per day. The media knew it and let Jen Psaki lie about it, has let Kamala Harris lie about it, and Joe Biden lie about it since.
Now, Mr. Biden did offer well-rehearsed answers and very few surprises to most of the questions, but that is not to say that there wasn't the occasional cleanup on aisle 5. Take, for example, his response to this question about reopening schools.
A goal to open the majority of schools in your first 100 days. You're now saying that means those schools may only be open for at least 1 day a week.
No, that's not true. That's what was reported. That's not true. It was a mistake in the communication. What I'm talking about is I said opening the majority of schools in K through 8th grade because they're the easiest to open.
Okay, did you hear that? He said that was a mistake in communication. Well, that comment appears to be a reference to his press secretary, Jen Psaki, who said this about reopening schools.
His goal that he set is to have the majority of schools, so more than 50%, open by day 100 of his presidency. And that means some teaching in classrooms. So at least 1 day a week. Hopefully it's more.
At least 1 day a week. That's what really got a lot of people talking.
In December, President Biden promised he will be reopening schools in his first 100 days in office. Seems kind of like an important thing to do in a society. And now he's announced he will be reopening schools just 1 day per week. So instead of them being open, they'll be closed 80% of the time. But this is better because 1 day a week gives kids 20% of a normal education while still giving them 80% of lockdown realities of despair. With Biden backtracking his original statement to reopen schools to just 1 day a week, mathematically speaking, that makes his original statement 20% honest. So at least he's improving there.
A reminder that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were the ones during the campaign calling for the Trump administration to leave politics out of it. And one would point out that there's a lot of politics at play when you hear something like that, knowing the facts.